Hello everybody, this is Miss Dupe today, and I am going to show you how to place roots on a number line by using your calculator. You are going to change them to whole numbers or non-terminating decimals, and then we will place them on the number line together. So first of all, our number line is that line with 4, 5, and 6 marked on it so far. Not the neatest, but we're working with what we got. And then our numbers we want to place on the number line are square root of 30, square root of 16, and cube root of 120. We've been working with roots for like 3 days now, 4 days. And by now we should know that the square roots are the roots without any number, and the cube roots are the roots with the little tiny 3 on it. First of all, I want to show you what the little notches mean in between the numbers when you are on a number line. So we're going to work on marking them together today. We're not going to write each little decimal down, but I'm just going to talk you through it. So you should have 9 little notches in between 4 and 5 and 5 and 6. So I'm going to show you. You would have 4. And then 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 should be right dead in the center of 4 and 5. And then 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, and then we're at 5. Next, we would have 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5 should be right in the center. 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9. Now, might not be the most evenly spaced out notches there on the number line, but we are all doing our best here. The next thing we are going to do is enter these roots into our calculator. So the first one is square root of 30. So you're going to hit the second x squared button and type 30 into your calculator. Make sure you close that parenthesis, and you get 5.477 and a bunch of stuff. So you are going to round this to the nearest hundredth. That's just so if we have two numbers that are very close together, we can put them more precisely on the number line in order, even though we only have tenths on our number line here. So 5.477 rounded to the nearest hundredth is 5.48, since that 7 rounds the other 7 up. So the next example we have is square root of 16. So we're going to hit second x squared, type in 16, close the parenthesis, and we get 4, which 4 is a whole number. We don't have to round that at all, which is excellent. The last one is cube root of 120. We're going to hit 3, second, and then the caret key. Type in 120 into your calculator and hit enter. This is also a non-terminating decimal like our first one, so we're going to round it to the nearest hundredth. So we have 4.932. So 4.93. The 3 stays the same because the 2 keeps it the same. So next we're going to place our numbers on the number line, but when we do that, we want to put our original numbers here that I'm going to highlight for you. These are what need to be written on the number line. So in red, we're going to mark those together. So the first one is 5.48. So you want to look at where 5 is, start there. Then we have 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4. Now 5.48 is pretty close to 5.5. I would mark it here because I'm pretty good at putting things on a number line. However, if you put it at 5.4, I would call it good enough. So now we're going to put the square root of 30 on there. The next one is 4, very, very easy. So square root of 16 is 4. It's going to go right above the 4 because it's a whole number. And then the last one, cube root of 120, is 4.93. So we're going to go all the way over to 4.9. So 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. And then 4.93 is, a little after 4.9, but if you put it right on 4.9, I'm not going to make a fuss. So cube root of 120 is right there. This next example, I'm going to show you what the little notches in the number line means. So starting at 1, if you see the little notches in between 1 and 2, this is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, and 1.9, and then up to 2. So if you were to place like 1.5 on the number line, it would be right in the middle of 1 and 2. Same for between 2 and 3. This is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, and then 3. I know those are not super even or anything, but here we are. So starting out like we're supposed to, we are going to change all of these roots to decimals. So the first one, we are going to find the cube root of 8. So 3 second caret key 8. And that gets us a whole number, which is 2. So that's an easy one, no rounding required. Next one is square root of 5. So we're going to hit second x squared and 5. So my dogs are playing. So this is 2.236 and so on. We're going to round that to the nearest hundredth. So the 6 rounds the 3 up to a 4. So this is 2.24. The next one is square root of 1. So we're going to hit second x squared 1, close the parenthesis, and we get the answer 1, a nice whole number. And the last one we have to change to a decimal is cube root of 12. So we're going to hit 3 second caret key 12, hit enter, and this is 2.289 and a bunch of other stuff. So that 9 rounds up the 8 to a 9. So this is 2.29. As you can see, we have two answers that are very close together, and that's okay. So what you need to make sure of is that when you are marking these answers on the number lines, you're putting the original numbers on the number line, not what you change them to as decimals. So let's start with cube root of 8. That is exactly 2, so that's going to go right on 2. And we're going to make sure we're writing the original cube root of 8. Next we have 2.24. So if we look at our number line here, 2.2 is right here. 2.24 is, you know, a little bit in between that, but if you put it at 2.2, I wouldn't fuss. So that's going to be square root of 5. Now our next answer is square root of 1, which is 1. We're going to mark that exactly at 1. And the last one is 2.29. So it's almost right on square root of 5. So we're actually going to mark that pretty close to 2.3. And then we're going to do the cube root of 12 underneath the number line just to make sure we have enough room. Here in our next example, we have a number line where we have all the little notches marked. So I wanted to go through and talk about what these notches mean with the highlighter. So with our number line, we're starting at 9. Obviously, there's numbers before 9, and there's also numbers after 11 over here. But starting at 9, each of these little notches mean 9.1. Oops. Let's fix that and get the actual highlighter. So this is going to be 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.8, 9.9, and up to 10. So then this would be the same thing, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, 10.7, 10.8, 10.9, and then up to 11. So I just want you to understand what each of those notches mean before we start this problem. Starting out, we're going to change all of these roots into decimals rounded to the nearest hundredth. So the first one is square root of 121. We're hitting second x squared typing in 121 and closing the parenthesis, we get the answer 11. So we don't really even have to round that one to the nearest hundredth. It's just a whole number already. The next one is the cube root of 729. So we hit 3, second, and then the caret key, type in 729. And this one is also a whole number. It's going to be 9. The next one is the square root of 110. So we're going to hit second, x squared, type in 110. This is going to be our first non-terminating decimal. We get 10.488 and then a bunch of stuff after that. But the important part is we know that the 8 rounds the other 8 up to a 9. So this is really 10.49. The next one is cube root of 1200. So we're going to hit 3, second, caret key, type in 1200, and we get 10.626 and a bunch of numbers after that. So that 6 actually rounds the 2 up. So we're going to get 10.63 when we round to the nearest hundredth. Next, we're going to place all of our original numbers right here on the number line. So we want to make sure we get all of these guys on the number line. The decimals just guide us on where we put them on the number line. I'm going to change my pen color to red. So first one is very simple. It's going right on 11. So I'll put a little red notch there, and we're going to write the square root of 121 here. And now we got our first one down. The next one is 9 cube root of 729. That's also going to go right on the 9 there. Very simple. Then just make sure you're writing cube root of 729 instead of 9. Now the next one is a little bit tricky. It's 10.49. So starting at 10, you want to count all your little notches. So we have, I'm just going to put little dots here, 10, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4. Well, this is 10.49, so it's awfully close to 10.5. I'm going to stick the notch right there and then write square root of 110 right here. And then actually our last one is 10.63, so we're going to be really close to that square root of 10 right here. And this is going to be 10.6-ish. So that's where the cube root of 1200 goes.